Okay, hi, we're going to do an art project, a directed drawing with Mr. Haktak from our reading story. Now, if you have your paper already folded, that's great. If not, you just need to fold it into about a third, and so you have a flap. See how this opens up like a book on the right-hand side? Now that's really important because we're going to draw something on top of it and underneath. So the very first thing I'm going to do with my pencil is just kind of lightly mark where my flap is down here on the bottom part. Now I didn't do it really dark, but you can see that there's a couple of dashes. I'm going to open it up, and the first thing I'm going to draw is Mr. Haktak's pot. Now I need half of his pot on this side of my dashed line and half of my pot on the other side. So, and his pot was big. Remember, it was big enough that they fell in it. So I'm going to start my pot by drawing a big oval. Now it doesn't have to be perfect. And then I'm going to draw down and around. Now I drew this really light, and now I can erase it. I just needed to know where my pot needed to be. Okay. Now I'm going to go up at the top of my page. This is all still with my flap open. See, if I close my flap, you only see half of my pot. Okay, so you should have a pot. I don't remember if Mr. Haktak's pot had a handle, but we could draw some kind of handle that he was able to use. Okay. Now I'm going to draw Mr. Haktak right here. Now if my pot's too big, part of it might have to be kind of behind the pot, and that's okay. So the first thing I'm going to draw for Mr. Haktak is his head, and his head is kind of like a circle. Oh, I kind of didn't draw that perfect, but that's okay. That's why we're drawing with pencil today and not Sharpie. Only he has ears that kind of are like a letter C, and then a backwards letter C. Okay. And he has some eyes, and he had some wrinkles in his forehead. And I'm going to draw 2 lines down, and then I'm going to put like a little C for his nose, a letter C, a backwards letter C, and then a U for his nose. And Mr. Haktak has a smile. Now he also had a mustache, so I'm just going to do his mustache. And he had a beard, so I'm going to erase just a little bit right here and give Mr. Haktak a beard. Oh, and you can't forget his little puffy hair. And over here he has some hair. Okay. Now my Mr. Haktak's head's kind of tilted to the side, and that's okay. Then he wore kind of like a robe. So I'm just going to draw it straight down. And my Mr. Haktak's going to be standing part way behind the pot. His robe has some buttons. Closed it. And he had his arm. Okay, now his other arm's hidden behind the pot, and that's okay. Now, the reason we draw this first is because now we're going to draw our horizon. And we've talked about horizon before, the line that makes it seem like where the earth and the sky meet. But in our horizon, we're going to have some mountains. So I'm going to draw, and Mr. Haktak, he might be in the way of the horizon, and that's okay. I'm going to draw a line. But when I get to Mr. Haktak, I'm not going to draw through his head. And then I'm going to draw a line all the way to the fold in my paper. And in our story, the mountains were kind of hilly. Not like mountains we have here, but more like hills. So we have Mr. Haktak, the horizon, the pot, and some hills. Now I stopped everything at my fold because now I'm going to draw the other half of my pot. Now, if you can't really see it, you could draw your pot just a little bit darker. But if not, you can trace through your paper. And now I have my pot on both sides. And now I need to do the same thing with my horizon and my hills. So now I have my picture on the inside and on the outside of my flap. Now the reason we're doing that is because in Mr. Haktak's pot, his pot was magical. Everything that went into his pot doubled. So I'm going to have Mr. Haktak put in 4 coins. I'm just going to draw 4 coins here on the outside of my flap. Now what happens when we double 4? Underneath, I'm going to have 4 more coins because Mr. Haktak put 4 coins in, 8 coins came out. And that's what we're going to write. I'm going to write it right over here. In fact, I'm going to grab a Sharpie for that. I'll write it later. Oh, here's my Sharpies. But before I write it, I want to color a little bit. Now I'm going to outline my lines. And maybe my heel in green. Maybe another heel in green, but I might color them a lighter green. I'm not going to color all of my hills the same. I'm going to do his pot brown. I'm just outlining it right now. And then, oh, I need to do my heels on the inside. And I will color as much as I can before my timer goes up, but I will post a picture at the end of what mine looks like. So I just wanted to hurry and color a hill so I can write. Let's use the light green. So I can get my writing done so you can see what the writing is going to say. And I'm just using a lighter color green. That's okay. And then I'm going to do my sky. I think I'll do my sky blue green. But I'm going to color the entire paper on the flap, and then I've got to color it on the inside of the flap to match. And then this one's darker green. So when I'm coloring it, you can hear that I hit that fold, and that's okay. Now the reason I'm coloring it up here is because I want to be able to have time while you're watching this video to show you what I'm going to write. And I hurry and color the inside to match. I have to do it in two parts. I'll do it in two parts. That's okay. And the sky, because I might write on the sky. Okay, I'll finish coloring it, but on the outside I'm going to write Mr. Haktak put 4 coins in the pot. Then on the outside, I'm going to write 8 coins came out. 4 plus 4 equals 8. But that's underneath. See how the gold coins are underneath? And then I'm going to take my time and I'm going to color the rest of my picture. Now we're coloring the entire paper. But I wanted to show you how to write your sentence first. Now remember, when you're doing it, that some of your whatever goes in your pot needs to stay hidden under your flap. That's why we made it so it could open up and show. Mr. Haktak put 4 coins in, 8 came out. 4 plus 4 equals 8. And I will hurry, and the video's got to be over, but I will finish coloring it and post a picture of my finished work.